Hello, this is the Watchdog, and welcome back to Fun with Watches. If watches weren't fun, you'd only need one. Today we're going to review the Pagani Design PD1644, homage to a Rolex Daytona. Let's start out with the wrist check. I'm wearing a Forcing TM417G. I won't tell you what one of my viewers called this because somebody watches this with his young daughter. But I'm hoping it was because of autocorrect. And Grogo's still wearing my Ben Nevis knockoff to a Fossil Nathan Drake watch. Grogo said he started watching the Rings of Power, so I asked him what he thought the Southlands should do about their orc problem. He said maybe they should call the Orkin Man. Alright, let's take a look at the watch. Comes in this Pagani Design snapper case. Once again, you can usually get these in the big clamshell box if you want, but it usually costs $10 extra. So here it is. It's a nice looking watch. When it comes to sub $100 Daytona homages powered by the ever popular VK63 Mecha Quartz movement, you really can't do much better than this Pagani design. Solid steel, sapphire crystal, and it really does look quite a bit like a Daytona. You're not going to get an automatic chronograph in this price range, and even a mechanical such as the Seagull ST19 or its variants are going to up the price by at least $100. Just like the NH35, it can get kind of boring reviewing yet another VK63 watch, but there isn't a lot out there, and it does such a good job for the money. I much prefer it to the VK64, which does not have a running second hand. There are the models that look like the Rolex versions, and then there are the other colors such as a blue or green bezel Panda. There are also rubber strap versions, and I had already reviewed one. Then there is also one with a black PVD coating. I had ordered a meteorite version, but was sent this one instead. I liked it so much I decided to keep it. The watch is 39.4 millimeters at the bezel, 48.2 millimeters lug to lug, 53.3 if you count the protruding end links. It's only 11.5 millimeters thick, so it's a fairly thin watch. 20 millimeter lug width, and weighs 135 grams on the supplied bracelet with 2 links removed, so it's fairly light for its size. Has a black ceramic bezel with an engraved tachymeter, and this one actually says tachymeter where the Rolex says units per hour. Has a white dial with no sunburst effect, has a Pagani Design name and logo on top. And then it says Chronograph, and then has Sport on red. I wonder why they don't put it on top of the bottom subdial, which would make it look more like a real Daytona. Applied lume indices with little tiny ones next to the subdials. Lume stick hands, no Mercedes hour hand when you have a chronograph like this because it just takes up more real estate on the dial, and they don't want to block the subdials. Has an unloomed chronograph hand with a little arrow tip. The subdials do have a sunburst effect, unlike the dial. I prefer solid Panda style subdials, but take that up with Rolex because Pagani Design is trying to look like the Rolex, and the Rolex quit doing that on the basic ceramic Daytona. They still do it on the gold ones. Being a VK63, we have a 24-hour indicator on the right, a running second hand on the bottom, and then the chronograph minute counter on the left. I always complain about the VK63 24-hour indicator as I think it's a waste of a subdial. I wish they'd find something else to use it for, maybe such as a hour counter for the chronograph. But once again, that's not Pagani Design's fault, that's Seiko's fault. And we have a date at the 4:30, no frame or anything, no Cyclops. A real Daytona doesn't even have a date, so I guess this is one up on the Daytona. Then it says Japan movement, where in the Daytona it says Swiss made. We have a signed screw down crown, helping provide 100 meters of water resistance. And then we have screw lock pushers. they're not screwed down, they're screw locks. So you have to unscrew them to use them, but you're not screwing them into the case, you're just locking them. This is so you don't accidentally push them when it's underwater, because you don't want to do that because it breaks the seal. So you can have a unscrew down crown and still have 100 meters water resistance, but if your pushers aren't screw lock, then you can't give it 100 meters, because if somebody pushes it, it'll be a disaster. Has a flat sapphire crystal. I don't know if there's any AR coating or anything, I doubt it, but it does a pretty good job. There's not too much reflection. Then it has a solid steel case that's polished everywhere except for the bottoms. Then we have a solid steel screw down case back. It has Pagani Design name and logo. It says Sport. Then it gives 100 meters water resistance. It says stainless steel. Then it also gives the model number PD1644. This is a nice flat case back, which is good. It makes the watch wear thin. And it's always nice to have a screw down and not the Rolex style with the coin edge where you need special tools. Underneath the case back is the VK63 Mecha Quartz movement. It is a quartz movement that also runs the chronograph mechanically, although still battery powered. The chronograph takes 5 times a second, giving a smooth sweep. Resetting it gives instant snapback. In case you haven't seen it before, I can't always assume that you're not a newbie. Let me show you the VK63 in action. First, I have to unscrew the pushers. Then we'll go ahead and start the chronograph. And there it is. As you can see, it's a smooth sweep because it's ticking 5 times a second. Then when you're ready to stop it, go ahead and click it again. And then click the reset button to reset it. And you get that instant snapback. A lot of quartz chronographs, you get a fast rewind. So that's one nice thing about this, is the smooth sweep and the instant snapback. Has an oyster style bracelet with solid end links. This is a 3-link, but the center links are attached to the side links. Center links are though polished though, and the side links are brushed. And then this has screw pin adjusters, and Pagani Design always has nice big screws, so you don't need the smallest screwdriver in the world to open it. And then the clasp is an oyster style clasp. I'm not a big fan of oyster style clasp, but I always give them a pass if it's in Rolex homage. My biggest complaint about the Rolex style clasp is if it doesn't have some form of glide lock, using the micro adjust can be quite difficult. I wish they would just put holes on the side and make it easy. I know it doesn't look as good with holes on the side, but I'd rather have it functional than pretty. Here's the watch on my 7.5-inch wrist. I had to remove 2 links to make it fit. I think it wears really nice. It conforms to the wrist. It wears nice and flat because it's a nice thin watch for its size. And I really like it. It's comfortable, looks nice, has a good fit. So yeah, it's a really nice watch to wear. Here we are in the lume room, just wearing the watch. I didn't even notice any, so I don't have any high expectations for this test. As we speed up the time, the watch fades almost immediately, especially the hands and tiny subdial indices. This is Pagani Design at their worst. This lume is not good at all. What do I like about this watch? Stunning looks. It looks a lot like a Daytona. Comfortable to wear, and a lot of watch for the price. What are my gripes and groans? Terrible lume. The lume is it's just as bad as Pagani Design lume can be. And that's really it. That's my only complaint. I mean, other than that, it's a really good watch for the price. Do I recommend this watch? Yes. If you want something that looks like a Daytona, then you really can't go wrong with this. Unless lume is very important to you. In that case, give it a pass, because the lume is terrible. Well, thank you for watching my review of the Pagani Design PD1644. And I will be back with another unboxing. I think I got something in the mail today. Be sure and like and subscribe to my channel. Bye.